Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com, and this is going to be your Let's Get Ready for the week ahead, February 11th through February 15th. So Friday, we had an end of day rally as the markets finished the week mixed. Money being put to work towards the end of the day. The Dow Jones was down 63 points on Friday. The Nasdaq down, +9. The S&P +2. 268 was being defended on Friday and was important because the bulls made a stand here at around this 268 level. Let me show you the 5-minute intraday chart, pre-post market chart. So as you can see, Friday we came down to about this 268 level, and the bulls did defend this level and moved us up into a strong close on Friday. Now for the week, you can see the action here in the market starting out Monday on the 4th. They pushed us up Monday. We kind of went sideways in the middle of the week, and then Thursday we started to gap down on Thursday, and then Friday, this is where the bulls came in, defended that 268 level, pushed us up to about 271 area on the SPY. So these are your levels to watch for the SPY, 268 and around this 271 area for the SPY. So right now, we'd say on the markets right now, we're coming up against, we came up near that 200 flat SMA here, the green line on my daily chart, and we did get a slight pullback from that. The bulls did recover around the 10 SMA, the light blue line you see on my chart for the SPY. So overall, after this big push up, some consolidation, some indecisive candles here, just under the 200 SMA, and as you can see, it's a flat 200 SMA, and we have a 275 up ahead. The number that most are watching is going to be going forward. If we get up this high around this 280 area, we have a top here around 280, another top here, so that would bring us back up to triple top area for the SPY. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the sectors that were moving for the week that passed. We had the aerospace and defense index up about 3%. Software application software index was up just a little under 3% for the week. The real estate REIT index was up about 1%. To the downside for the week, we had JNUG, the junior gold miners, down about 5%. Nat gas was down just under 5%. Oil took another hit this week, down just a little under 5%. Light sweet crude oil, WTI oil, down about 4.5% for the week, closing at around $53 per barrel for light sweet crude oil. As far as some other sectors, we had the cannabis sector down about 4%, the OIH, the oil services sector, down about 4%. We also, for the week, had the steel sector down just under 3% for the week. The VIX was also, so volatility kind of took a break this week, also down about a little under 3%. We have a 15 handle on the VIX right now. The IBB was down about 2.25% for the week. Let's go ahead and take a look at the IBB chart. On the weekly chart for the IBB, we do have this kind of a bearish engulfing candle here as we came up to the 34 SMA on the weekly chart for the IBB. This might have been caused by President Trump in his State of the Union address. He made comments, called for legislation that would decrease the prices of pharmaceutical drugs in the country. So that definitely affected the IBB. So some of your weaker sectors this week, we had oil week, nat gas week, and steel stocks and cannabis stocks, which have had a nice run On the cannabis sector. The MJ is the cannabis ETF. We've bounced off of about $23, came up to about $38 on the cannabis ETF, and we've pulled back a little bit. And like I said, down about 4% for the week. Some of the S&P sector performances. Utilities had a strong week, up 2%. The XLK, the technology sector, up just under 2%. The industrial sector was up over 1.5% for the week. And the real estate, the REITs were up 1 and about a third percent for the week. To the downside, for the week, we had the XOP, the exploration index. This was down over 7% for the week. The XLE, the energy sector, down 3% for the week. The XME, metals and mining sector, was down 2.5% for the week. And the XBI also down just a little under 2%. The biotech sector. So things that were weighing on the markets this week, there were world growth concerns weighed on the markets. Growth forecasts were cut in Germany and Italy. Trade talks continued on with China, but stalling. Issues remain. Larry Kudlow came out and said that China and the United States, there's a sizable distance apart for the two countries. March 1st deadline is looming. If no deal, possible that the tariffs go into play on March 1st. We did get this article coming out from Bloomberg. This came out on February 9th at 7:11 a.m. Eastern Time. China says Premier Liu, he will join the U.S. trade talks next week. So some hope going there for the trade talks going into next week. Some news that came out Friday after the bell. This news courtesy of the trade exchange. We had Dropbox completes the acquisition of HelloSign. So Dropbox had a strong close on Friday. DBX moving up. So that news coming out courtesy of the trade exchange after Friday's close. RGSE was halted after the close on Friday. RGSE. That stock moved down when it reopened. RGSC is energy to begin trading on the OTC QX market. So they sold that one off. Then later in the day on Friday, oh sorry, after hours on Friday, they moved that back up to about that 52-cent range. So some news coming out there on Real Good Solar after the bell on Friday. Let's see if we had any other news that came out. We had ears. Medical announces receipt of NASDAQ notice, CETX notice to propose settlement derivative litigation press release. Match Group announces pricing of upsized senior notes. That came out Friday after the bell. This was the news that I showed you from Bloomberg. China says Vice Premier Liu to join the trade talks next week. We also had some top insider purchase information that came out after the bell on Friday. POST, ZBH, a couple of insider purchases there by directors. UFI director purchased over 35,000 shares, and then we had some insider purchase action there on STX. So let's go ahead and take a look at insider transactions ratio. So as you can see, as we move up, it's kind of in that bearish segment here. Down here is bullish. So right now it is a ratio equals about 29 for the ratio. This comes from Reuters. So we are getting some into the bearish area here as the insider transaction ratio is moving up. Let's go ahead and take a look and get ready for the week ahead. As you can see, this courtesy of the Trade Exchange economic calendar. We do get some Fed speak coming up for the week ahead. It's pretty straightforward. No major economic news coming out. We do get CPI and inflation gauge on Wednesday. CPI comes out at 8:30. Then on Thursday at 8:30, we get the PPI, another inflation gauge. You can see that we have some Fed speak going on Tuesday after the bell. On Wednesday before the bell, we have at 7:15 we get Fed speak, and also we get Fed speak at 8:50 a.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. Nothing on Thursday for Fed speak, and then at 10 o'clock on Friday, we get some Fed speak coming in for that day. The EIA natural gas number is out on Thursday. We get the oil numbers, the EIA petroleum status report on Wednesday at 10:30. The API crude oil data will be out Tuesday after the bell at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Some earnings that'll be coming up. Now, earnings season is winding down a bit, but we do have some earnings. Monday, not too many big names coming out, but Tuesday before the open, we get Shopify, SHOP. Under Armour will be reporting UA symbol there. After the bell on Tuesday, we get Twilio, Groupon will be reporting, Activision reporting after the bell on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have Teva reporting, Hilton Worldwide, Rand Gold will be reporting Wednesday after the bell. We get Cisco reporting, Yelp will be reporting after the bell on Wednesday. Thursday is the big, so Thursday after the bell, we have NVIDIA, Applied Materials, AMAT will be reporting. NVIDIA is a big report after the bell on Thursday. Friday, we get John Deere, we get PepsiCo, PEP. We also get Yandex, that's the Google of Russia, will be reporting. So Friday before the bell, we do get some earnings reports coming out. So these are your earnings report, courtesy of Earnings Whisper. Some IPOs that came out this past week, we had ALEC, HARP, and GOSS biotech IPOs coming this week. Some of the biotech IPOs that'll be coming out: ANCN, CBUS, AVDR, TCRR, and MITO. Some IPOs coming out for the week ahead. On Friday, there was a news blurb out that there was a source in the SEC saying that there could be a possible ETF for Bitcoin. So that brought volume into Bitcoin on Friday. They moved it up, and some of the cryptocurrency stocks were moving up. We'll talk about those in the Stocks to Watch video that will be out later in the day. Let's go ahead and get into some of your best stocks for the week that passed. We had Electronic Arts. This Apex Legends game is what's moving Electronic Arts up. Over 10 million users to their new game, Apex Legends. Another stock after they reported earnings that made a nice move up for the week that passed was Mattel, up almost 25% for the week. RL was up 8% for the week, and ST Lauder was also moving up this week, 13%. Both reported earnings this week, both with very good earnings reports and guidance going forward. So that moved those two stocks up. Skechers had a very nice week, up 19% for the week. Snapchat moved up and with a strong move this week after they came out with better than expected earnings, up 32% for the week. Irobot had a very nice week after they reported earnings, up 17%. Zynga moved up after their earnings report, up over 8% for the week. CLF announced their earnings on Friday. The stock moved up 12% for the week. ARRY had a very good week. The stock moved up 14% for the week. COTY announced their earnings on Friday. The stock moved up 24%. Cody, COTY, having a very nice week. ZEN, the CEO was on CNBC. Software applications, as I showed you, that sector has been very strong. Zen making a strong move for the week, up 11%. PAYC also in the software application sector, up almost 17%. For the week. CMG, Chipotle Mexican Restaurant, they came out with earnings and the stock moved up 11%. Roku had a very nice week. Roku moving up 7% for the week. EXPE, they came out with earnings this week. The stock moved up 7%. Looks good on the weekly chart, by the way, on that one. CPRI, this used to be the old Coors. This stock moved up 8% for the week. They announced their earnings this week. SWKS, they're a supplier to Apple. They had a good week, up 10.5% for the week. EOLS, this stock, a biotech name, up 46% for the week. They got FDA approval on one of their pipeline products. CORT came out with a letter defending itself against short sellers for CORT. The stock moved up 13%. ARRY, they had positive earnings for the second quarter for ARRY, and just wanted to give you that information of why that one moved up. MGNX, phase 3 met primary endpoints for breast cancer patients in MGNX. Stock moved up 96% for the week. EGAN had a very good week, up 57% for the week. ARWR had a nice week, up 10% for the week on ARWR. MARA, one of the cryptocurrency stocks, moved up 53%. We also had Riot move up this week, which is in the cryptocurrency space, up 31%. OSTK, Overstock.com had a nice week, up 16% for the week. Some other stocks that were up for the week: XXII was up just a little under 13%. Cara had a good week, up 11% for the week. GRUB, they had earnings. This stock moved up 7% for the week. BA also had earnings, and that stock moved up close to 5% for the week. So that's some of your best stocks for the week that passed. Some of your worst stocks for the week that passed. We start out with Twitter, that announced earnings this week. This stock moved down close to 10% for the week for TWTR. Goodyear Tire came out with earnings. Stock dropped 11%. ARNC also had earnings this week. Stock dropped just a little under 7%. AMD moving down this week about 6% for the week on AMD. As we noted, some of the marijuana cannabis names were having a pullback week. CRON down 6% after a big move up the last few weeks, as you can see on the weekly chart here. But CRON was down about 6%. CGC also pulled back this week, down about 7% for the week. TTWO moved down after they came out with earnings, down 7%. ATVI also moved down about 6% for the week. The OIH sector was down about 4%, and names like Halliburton took a hit, down 7% for the week. Rig also taking a hit, down 5% for the week. Schlumberger down almost 4% for the week. APC, another oil stock, down almost 14% for the week. Tapestry dropped this week after they reported their earnings. This used to be the old Coach handbags. This stock dropped 12% for the week. TPR, BLRX, they had received an orphan drug approval, and then they did a stock offering. So BLRX, which was up, then moved down 39% for the week. OPK, this stock did an offering, down 25% for the week. CATB, an offering there, stock dropped 29% for the week. PULM, they did a 1-for-10 reverse split and then came out with an offering. They moved this stock down 40%. VNDA, FDA placed a clinical hold on its pipeline candidate. It's pursuing legal action against the FDA, and that's on VNDA, but the stock dropped 28% for the week on VNDA. SLDB, shares plunged following release of of its phase 1-2. This stock dropped almost 70% for the week. SGMO. This one had issues from its phase 1-2 treatment on SGMO. Stock dropped 38% for the week. And lastly, USAT. Counting firm resigned here from USAT, and that moved that one down 38% for the week. And that's your worst stocks for the week. So, U.S. Headlines could likely be the main driver of sentiment for the week ahead. So, U.S. trade talks will be going on this week coming up. So, that's something to pay attention to. We do have Fed speakers coming out this week. We get U.S. inflation gauges coming out for economic information. U.S. retail sales will be coming out also this week. Earnings season will start to wind down this week. Earnings season, investors have been struggling to reconcile between the better than expected Q4 earnings, but the guidance concerns are what's the issue going forward. So that'll be weigh on investors going forward in the market. And this will take a look at some of the bigger names, the FANG names. Netflix holding above the 200 SMA here. Amazon with the Jeff Bezos news going on, remaining below the 50 SMA currently on Amazon. As far as Google, which kicked off earnings on Monday, the stock holding on the daily chart around this 20 SMA for Google. Facebook having a decent week, up fractionally for the week, but holding around above the 10 SMA and holding around the 5 EMA for Facebook. It's been battling around that to 171 area for FB, Facebook. Nvidia has been just kind of in this consolidation as we await earnings coming out Thursday, the 14th for Nvidia. And Tesla remains in the middle of its range between that 380 area and the 250 area. We are holding and battling around this $300 spot for TSLA. So we'll just go ahead and take a look at the IWM, which has been coming up to the 100 SMA and around this 152 area has been resistance at the moment. The IWM is still holding above the 10 SMA and the fast moving averages here. We've had a nice bounce. We're getting a little bit of consolidation. You could say it's kind of a cup with a handle here and in this consolidation mode. All right, everybody, this is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com, and this has been your Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead. I hope you're more ready for the week ahead than you were before.